And our conversations continue this hour with me reminding you or giving you a plot for today or getting into the weekend. Have you been recently to Sarit, your city? If you're walking around that particular or part of the city, or if you're driving in that direction, Sarit, your city, is where you want to get off. It's your ultimate festive destination. And so from the month of November well into January, you can step into a magical world of Christmas with dazzling decor and all your elements for the festive season. Santa will be there, the Grinch will be there, and Rudolph spreading cheer all through the month. It's an opportunity for you to experience Africa's first ever light the world giving machines. So from the 30th, you could have started by donating farm animals, food and clothing to bring some joy to those who are in need. And you can shop for the latest deals right through Sarit, your city. Maximize your experience with the Sarit loyalty app and redeem points, pay for parking, transfer family points, and send digital gift vouchers to your loved ones with ease. And don't forget, there's Masai Market every Wednesday. It was there yesterday, rather the day before. And there's also Kids Corner every weekend. Getting into the weekend, you can enjoy all the elements of Sarit, your city. And that's for when you're on the ground. And when you get into the air, Emirates will take you where you need to go in a way that very few others do.
Yes, the idea of moving from point A to B is something that seems to be ingrained in the DNA of human beings. Human beings like movement. And that is the reason why we travel, and that's why people have migrated from time immemorial. But now, if you wish to understand what is available before you travel, well, you can't do better than looking at Emirates. 140 destinations from JKI. 140. You might even get confused in the process, but you do know where you want to go. And Emirates is saying if you take the time and you look at what we offer you on our business class, then you will find that your whole process of traveling will become completely different. We'll revolutionize it for you. You'll have a situation where you will find that traveling no longer becomes a chore. It isn't something you endure, it's something you actually enjoy. And why? Because from the time you leave, wherever it is you're leaving from to go to the airport, they are saying, we will transport you there in comfort. We will transport you when you're in the air, 40,000 feet up in the air. We will not only transport you in comfort, we will feed you. We will ensure that you have a drink, not just a drink, drinks. You will be well liquefied. If you wish to rest, you can actually sleep.
You said well liquefied, okay.
Yes. And when we say sleep, we don't mean sit upright. We mean sleep. The chair will stretch out flat. And to ensure that you actually sleep soundly, we'll even give you pajamas. We'll give you a duvet. No, duvet you have to leave. Huh?
And we don't encourage you to walk out of the plane in
pajamas. No. And don't walk around in pajamas, and don't walk out of the plane in pajamas. They are yours. You don't have to wear them for people to know that they're yours. And we're saying, when you arrive at your destination, the same service you received when you went to the airport, we will afford you that. On your way back, we'll do the same. I mean, whether it is you want to work, whether you want to be entertained, how on earth do you compare this? Whatever it is you're doing in the air, in comfort and in luxury, is even more than what you do when you're on the ground. And that's Emirates business class for you.
Indeed.
Yes.
Well, welcome to our guest. You can decide whether you're on the ground or whether you're going to be in the air. There's always an option for you. Josphat Kamanya is a political analyst, is in the hot seat with us this morning. Joseph, good morning.
Good morning.
Josphat, sorry, good morning.
Good morning.
Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Welcome to the hot seat of the Situation Room. We're looking at the year in review politically.
Yes.
Kenya's political year in review 2024. It's the year that keeps on giving. If you thought that it was over, then Thursday will deliver you a cabinet shuffle and you'll be like, what's going on? We'll be discussing that this morning. But let's welcome you to the Situation Room with a proverb from Angola.
Yes. You cannot do without water even if it drowned your child.
What do you think about that? How would you interpret that, Josphat?
Well, city spews wisdom.
Especially on Friday.
Especially on Fridays. You cannot do without water, even if it drowns your child or children. I think there are essentials and basics that we cannot overlook in life, regardless of whether we want them or not, whether we are happy to have them or not. But they are basics and core principles of life and things that we must appreciate. But it is upon us to manage the existence or presence in our life. Because you do need water, but if you don't manage it well, in a manner of speaking to the proverb, it drowns your kids. So it's upon us to manage.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well, expectations, opinions are things that have been managed or trying to be managed over the last 12 months. And we got into a really political year. Was it not? Yes, it was. I mean, 2023 started off really politically with, protests. It was called the Sufuria Revolution, and then we went into NADCO. No, even before broad-based, went to NADCO. There was, people sat at Bomas and earned hefty allowances, and then came and told us how we were going to do 1, 2, 3. Then we've ended up with, implementation of a NADCO report or not implemented, and then now. There's an
People
impeachment.
signing it or not signing it.
Whether we
Yes.
are going to continue or not, whether we're going to be part of it, whether you're giving your opinion or not. I mean, we went through that whole fracas. And then now we decided, okay, we're going to have 2023 finance bill. Kenya said, no, we don't like. 2024 came, they said, this one out, completely, get it, we don't want. June 25th, went onto the streets. President got upset with Kenyans and said, you guys, you know what? I can't be complaining about everything all the time. I'm just giving a rough shot going through all of this, and then all of this resulted in a dissolution of cabinet. Some people came back, others didn't, were put in other places. And then yesterday we had a cabinet mini reshuffle, people brought in, for their talents and skills in particular cabinet offices and for nothing else. And here we are. We've just come through, and I have the picture in my head of somebody who's come out and their hair is all over the place. They've lost a couple of teeth, and it looks like that's what Kenya looks like politically at the moment. What are your thoughts about how we've been?
Thank you, Du. And it's very interesting that you've really highlighted the exact situation of what we've been through for the last almost 2 years. It's been a political journey, and we've had to endure a lot of pains, a lot of struggles, and a lot of agitation. Because what I love about our country is that we as Kenyans, we have chosen to own our country. And we have not ceded the leadership or power to the people who are in this case, the regime. But my thoughts as of to where we are and how it's been, I look at a progression of democracy, a democracy that we as a people must continue to be invested in. We have seen us as Kenyans come out very strongly and with opinions, as you say, and expectations on how we want to be governed. And most of all, what I have seen come out as a winner is our constitution, because it has reigned supreme. If you remember the Gen Z revolution, they were saying, we are leaderless, but we are led by the constitution. The whole reshuffle, the firing and hiring of cabinet, it revolves around the constitution. The whole political and constitutional process of impeaching a deputy president, it was constitutional driven. So I'm glad that we do have a constitution that we can fall back on in terms of, when there is haters in good leadership and proper governance. But I'm also concerned that if this becomes the trend for the next 2 years, where will we be? Because I think most importantly, the bigger question we need to answer is the economic situation of the country. And kindly try to step away from the political theatrics that we've been exposed to. So it's a dire situation, but we must engage and converse around it so that we come up with a solution. Kenya is home. We are not going anywhere, and we must own it. Yeah.
Now, it is a time where when this regime came to power, the first thing that went about was massive shopping. Other members of parliament joining the government and becoming part of it. And with this, we've seen how laws have been forced down the throats of Kenyans. We have seen the decisions that are being made. Public participation has just become another term that is on paper. In terms of moving forward and going into the future, we expect that Kenyans will continue putting this government in check. But as we do that, we also see a regime that is fighting back and telling Kenyans, mtadu. As we move forward, Kenyans are also saying, we will show you that the constitution is supreme.
Yes.
Which way, Kenya?
Which way Kenya is that they will not believe. You know? They will not believe in the sense that for far too long we have believed that political class held a solution to our country. But well, lo and behold to us, in the previous campaign season, we had the Azimio and the Kenya Kwanza formations. And strong stewards of the Azimio were saying they can never work with the coalition of the Kenya Kwanza. But we have seen
Broad-based government.
Yes, we have seen Joho convert. He converted from I cannot to I will and I will defend. And if you are living in the slavery times, persons like Joho would be like the field nigger who became the house nigger, and then tells you we should not protest because the boss is feeding as well and you're sleeping well. But when he was surviving outside in the harsh conditions with the cotton pickers, he was agitating for some change. And that is an extension of what we even saw yesterday. The Jubilee fraternity, part of them being brought into government. So the solution does not lie with the political class. The solution lies with us Kenyans. They will not believe has to be the only way we must transform and transition into good governance that we aspire to see. You speak of opulence. Yes, it was there. And during the agitation of the Gen Z revolution, that was one of the core things that was spoken on. And it led to the president coming out and pronouncing himself on austerity measures. But unfortunately, they remain on paper. So we must ask ourselves as a country, when we speak of leaders, when we come out to vote, what really are we looking for? Are we still trying to do this regional balancing thing? Or do we want a person who can do the job for all of us as Kenyans? Because as a country, we shall have a president according to the constitution. One president. Out of the many millions that we are, only one person can lead a county as a governor. So we need to start now trickling down to the qualities and characteristics of the persons we want to see in office. There is nothing wrong with you being affluent in life, because we are business people, we work, however you make your means. But if you're holding a public office, it behooves you to have some wisdom and know that you're a subject of servitude to people. So how is your public relation? And that is where this whole government has fallen short. We don't have issues with people of capabilities being in office, but what we have issues with, as do try to allude to, is what can these people deliver? At some point, we were wondering whether the impeachment of the deputy president was going to be an economic solution to this country. But has it? No. We have a new deputy president. We saw him yesterday. He was in an interview I was watching, and he's not seeming to be a solution to the economic situation. He has not brought down the political temperatures we are having. So we are having a very hostile political interface, and the people have left the government. If you remember the times of, I think it's 1 Kings, chapter 12, verse 12, talks about Jeroboam and Rehoboam. When people are agitating for the yoke of oppression, the lifting of it.
Yeah.
And I think that was the last kingdom that ruled Israel at the time. So, one of the leaders did what exactly the president is doing. He went for the political class, the leaders of that time. And they said, no, we can manage the people. Let's just change a few things here and there. And then one person who was a servant came up and joined the people, and that's how the revolution came. And of course, they toppled that government. It's the same thing that is going to happen. I do not see a future for our president having a second term. So
Why do you say that?
I mean, look around. All the promises that had been made to Kenyans when we were voting for this administration, because we did. We campaigned and voted for it with a lot of hope and anticipation. Today, go around any place and ask people, are you satisfied with how the government is conducting itself? The people I've interacted with, largely, they're saying a resounding no. Because the kind of policies, the kind of the agenda the government is driving is not auguring well with the people. We're just trying to transition from the shisha, the medical. There are a lot of issues we could talk about, but that sits very deep with people because it's a health concern for every Kenyan. The transition has not been smooth. We don't care about the policies. Kenyans care about the service. If I go to a dispensary, am I going to find the facility well equipped, both with personnel and equipment, to attend to the sick? We've just been having the whole education funding model. We don't need to rebrand what we had, the HELP, the NHIF. That can come later. But before they bring it to the people, they should have had a strategic transition plan, whereby you make sure that the services will be available and the people get to the point of being served. Again, and this is what is most important, according to me, people do not trust this administration. The trust deficit. I don't know where we are going to borrow. In the habit of borrowing as a country. I don't know where we're going to borrow some trust to bridge the deficit that we have. And if people don't have faith in you, it may not matter how much good you may do. At the end of the day, people have to have confidence that what you're doing is in the interest of us. The recent one is the vaccination for all our domesticated animals. People are asking why. Kenya is not even a major exporter of beef. We are like number 6 in Africa, after Namibia, South Africa, Sudan, Ethiopia. But then the question I'm asking, fine, if it's going to dilute the methane, will I still be able to produce biogas? Because that's what some farmers use. The next question comes up is that we have other herbivores. We have zebras, buffaloes. What are we going to do about that in Africa? And then I had a recent conversation with people and they were asking, the person funding the vaccine, or rather who is making this initiative, Bill Gates, he's been quoted to have opinions on humanity and especially Africans, on how we need to control the population of Africa. So people are asking, how then are we to trust him when he starts to interfere with our food? Because beef is a major source of food.
We eat.
We have milk, we have meat. So there are a myriad of things that this government is coming out and trying to support, but people are not having a lot of confidence in them.
Is it a question of the government not communicating well on its agendas and not giving the citizenry an opportunity to be part of their plans and project, as enshrined, of course, in the Constitution through the public participation clause?
Well, first of all, the government does not need to give us an opportunity. It is our right. Public participation is our right. The whole public policy is about us. And that's the concept, the paradigm shift that we deserve as a country, is to understand that this government does not give us gifts.
No, it doesn't respect that we are their employers.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
They seem to think we have a kingdom where people keep issuing fiat, and we're saying, just pause a little bit.
Yes.
Kingdom thing is okay as long as it stays in your head, but this is a democracy, and we have a constitution, and all we're asking is that we look at the constitution when we go about our business.
That you serve us, not the other way around.
We gave you the job. Yes, you didn't give it to yourself. We gave you the job.
We are the boss. This is not a monarch.
Do you think that there's an understanding of that across the board? The folks who you yourself being one of them that you spoke about, that gave credence to the current administration by voting, right?
Correct.
Where I'm assuming in the country where the same president served as deputy president for 10 years. And then those promises didn't start at the campaign. They had been part and parcel of what was happening before. So do you think there's an understanding across board that truly you are in the driver's seat as the sovereign, as the people, and that it is your wholehearted responsibility to ensure that if you're not satisfied with the way things are going, you can do and get rid of it with your vote? Do you think that there's an understanding?
Well, it's a growing understanding. But the people in office clearly don't get it. Us as the people we know, but the people in office don't get it. If they did, the sitting deputy president will not be talking of national interest, public interest, and I think said something
National interest.
something else that is popular. No. You see, everything is premised on the constitution. And the constitution itself is not even superior than the people, because it's the people who...
It is our
It
document.
is our document.
And if we don't like it, we can change it.
Yes.
Yes.
And then that document helps us to form a government on how we want to be governed. So the discrepancy now is that the government thinks it is superior, one, than the constitution. That's why you see this violation of our court orders. Because if there was a rule of law being upheld, people would respect.
The court orders.
Yes. Then they further think that they are superior than the people. That's why if you want to demonstrate, they almost telling us that you cannot demonstrate today, yet it is enshrined in the constitution.
And if you dare demonstrate, we will deal with you. Yes.
So there are all those concerns. And you saw, like I saw in the Gen Z protest when they were beginning, persons who seem to resonate with the needs of the people, they came out. But then they were accused of financing the protest. And I think you've hosted the one Honorable Jimmy Wanjigi here. He came out, he spoke that what was happening was not correct. He has come out, he's spoken on the economic question of the country. And what I like about the conversation he's driving is that he's talking about the debt. Because we are at 11 trillion. And if for sure we continue spending more or almost a third of our revenue, both on source and otherwise, to repay debts,
It's not a third.
it's more.
It's 2/3.
2/3. At what point are we going to break free? So, and yet we have borrowed, but we are not able to resonate the borrowing and balance it with the development, because these are development-based kind of agreements that we enter into. So, these are the kind of persons we also need to come out, and they need to be listened to, so that we can interrogate the concepts. Because we're not too far away from the next election. God willing, next year in 2025 is the last year, because 2026 will be plunged again into campaign mode.
But why are you saying plunge and we're already in campaign mode?
We're here.
It's going to deeper. You're getting deeper into.
I mean, let me ask the question.
Yes.
When you look at the appointments that have been made, why do you think these appointments are being made? The earlier one, people said ostensibly because of the Gen Zs and what they raised, and then which birthed the broad-based government. And now this one is a broader-based government. But what do you think these appointments are about? Because whatever the Gen Zs were talking about were very clear, and none of those things seem to be addressed. No, sorry. Forgive me. None of them have been addressed. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. None of them have been addressed.
Yes.
That is a statement of fact. And I do agree with you. We are already in the campaign season. The appointments we are seeing is a political realignment to try and balance and try see whether this political vehicle is going to get into 2027. So I do agree with you. But it's going to get more... not necessary. It's not going to be violent, because we are of age now to differ in civility. Just that sometimes, as some elements of government do not want to appreciate that. But you should be able to have a different opinion. You should be able to critique.
The violence in this country is not from the citizen.
No, it's not.
It is from the government.
Yes.
So it is the government that needs to let us practice our rights within the constitution. But I do agree with you that the political realignment we are seeing has led to these appointments. And unfortunately, it's a regurgitation of the same.
So what does that tell you?
It tells me that we need to start formations that we want to have in the next government.
Oh, okay.
Directly.
The question would be how, but let's take a break on that point and come back and look at these formations. Who forms them and where from? And is there appetite for it? As we're going into that break, the KCB Foundation is ensuring that even through all of this, that there are young people who can get a stab at life.
Yeah. And the KCB Foundation, through the Tujiajiri program, has come in to look at where the problem is: unemployment in the country. And we have millions of Kenyans who get into the labor market. And KCB to Giajiri says that it will sponsor training for students aged between 18 and 34 in technical training institution, that is TVETs, to equip them with technical skills or upskill them to attain NITA certification, which is one of the certifications you need for you to be able to get these jobs. And go further ahead to say that the program incubates the enterprises created by these young people in making sure that they are ready for the market, and goes further ahead to say that when the graduates are ready and their ideas have been vetted for bankability, they receive credit they qualify for to advance their business interests. And it is at this point that the foundation exits and allows now KCB Bank to take over and guide you further. And KCB goes further to say that for you to get all these information, for you to get the skill, for you to get the equipment for you to start your business, you just go to kcbgroup.com/foundation.
There you go. And ways in which you can find out how this would all really work for you. All right. Remember that you can loop it. How are you going to loop it? How are you going to change your lifestyle, essentially? Or rather, make sure that your lifestyle is in a circular motion, paying your bills, making sure that you can access credit, talk to different merchants. It's the Loop app, and it's more than just an app. It is a lifestyle. So log on today, download it, first of all, on your Google App Store, your Google Play Store or Apple App Store, and find out how you can be part of the Loop Shopping Festival, which takes place at a mall near you. Different discounts, up to 10% cash back, up to for money spent over 2,000 shillings. The Loop Shopping Festival taking place at a mall near you. Why wait when you can loop it?
This is The Situation.
Hii krisi, some